Um, what should I say? And the person who's responsible is Mr. Nandi. He's the one who first came up with this idea that I should write a book. In fact, he handed me a contract as well. And it's all thanks to him. That's why he's in my acknowledgements. He's the person that I call up. He's a dear friend, not my 3 a.m. friend because his line is tied up with other women at that point. So, but yeah.
Mr. Nandi, would you like to tell us a little more about this so-called contract or, the push towards writing a book?
Well, it was another publisher who I very strongly recommended that a competitive publisher.
Oh, at this point, we'd like to thank Penguin Random House. Thank you so much.
And I said, this book will be a killer app for you guys. Just go and do this book. And I said it on the phone. In 24 hours, there was on track. I tried to persuade her that she is wiser than I am. So she kind of looked at all the commas and punctual full stops and threw it to her lawyer, her chartered accountant, and the man of the house, and whatever. And at the end, she chucked it out. Behind Chetan Bhagat and the Malayalam Manorama yearbook in one of the bestseller lists. So I thought I'd ask her how she copes with these kind of minor disasters. As much as in her writing and in her book, she is devastatingly wholesome. So I want to ask her how she manages to stay so wholesome.
Am I an atta product which is wholesome and healthy? I mean, no, there's nothing wholesome.
No, there's nothing remarkable, even remotely, nothing. It's charming. It's always wonderful. It's a great experience reading her because when you read her, you come away saying, hey, that was fun. And you're not having fun the way you normally have fun by being mean, vicious, the usual stuff that we celebrate in this country, particularly in the media.
The man of the house says, I really wish you were this woman in the book who's always so calm and collected. And I tell him that I probably have to join Baba Ramdev and do 4,000 Kapal Bhartis a day to be that calm. So I'm not really as cool and collected as Mrs. Funnybones, but she's the woman I want to be. Let's put it that way.
Tell me, most of your articles are somewhat time-tagged. Is that a literary device, or do you really live your life like that?
I'm a mom and I have a couple of jobs, so time is a major factor. And the second thing is I want to say many things without boring people. And how do I tie up those bits together? That's why I came up with a time schedule so that I can, put it all together without using extra sentences to connect each bit. Because I could start a column with, my Desi Jeeves coming and spraying deodorant on my flowers instead of water spray, and then end up with Hardik Patel and reserving seats for all the grade 8 moms. So I need to tie all of it up together.
Really? Or anyone. When you talk about a book, you talk about a book. You don't talk about a specific. When you talk about a person, you talk about such a generic definition of the person, like Kambalabai. There's never a specificity to the objects in your column and to the people in your column. Why is that? That's very curious literary device.
This Tuesday, you will be in the column as you, Mr. Nandi. Okay? So we'll put you there since you brought this up. I don't know. I guess I didn't want to call the man of the house by his name. And I'm an Indian woman, we say Sunoji and all of that, so really that would have not worked. No, I don't call him Sunoji, but I just felt that people would be able to relate to it more if the names were not there. And, I don't know, that's just something that I started with. It wasn't something I really thought all the way through. It worked.
There's no specificity even about the place. You say we are traveling. Which place? Where? The city.
But I get my point across,
That-
right? Without all these little.
No,
little
it's
things.
perfect. It's
Yeah.
perfect. I'm just saying.
I mean, I
it's
have
a
other
unique
names.
literary device.
I have other names. I have stay free, sanitary napkins written right there. I mean, the things that we need to read are there. That's what we need to know.
Yeah, I'm surprised Times lets it go by without asking for branding fees.
I'm not going to get into it again, pulling me there.
Do you really enjoy writing? Because if you don't, how do you manage to write a regular column?
No, I like it. I love it. It's taking over my practice of yoga. I'm there. I'm writing. Though I'm writing things which sort of revolve around my life, I'm removed from it in my brain. I'm absolutely separate. It's almost like being mindless because you're really present there. It's words and tying them up, and it sort of flows. So yeah, it's a form of, I would say, my yoga now. You do yoga as well.
I do yoga as well, and I write as a discipline. I can't confess, I can't say I enjoy it very much. Like I've been writing for far long, but I can't do without it. That's the problem.
It's a discipline I write every single day. I might write 4 lines, but I write every single day. Every morning by 7:30 I sit down and I write a little bit.
Do you read everything?
I read every day. Unfortunately.
Science fiction.
Science fiction. We actually bonded over Arthur C. Clarke, and he met him, so I was very fascinated. And then we decided we both like the Mad comics, so
Yeah.
we have a few reading habits. Apparently, I only read things that plump, pimply teenage boys read: science fiction, horror, zombie stories. Yeah.
So I'm a plump. Just define me. Just describe me. Plump, pimply teenage boy.
Be happy I call you teenage.
No, I think there's a lot of fun in the kind of stuff we read. That it was much, I think, a little more fun than Dexter. Dexter.
What's Dexter?
We haven't watched Dexter.
No,
Dexter
I don't
is
watch TV too much.
It's
It's a doctor?
It's a television serial about a guy who's a cop who goes around catching people and murdering them beautifully, elegantly.
I haven't seen them.
Uh,
I must.
chopping them into little bits and pieces, and that is the in thing.
Yeah.
I just had a friend of mine, an advertising executive, an excellent writer, otherwise, Anil Thakrani, who sent me his new book about a guy who keeps chopping up people. He doesn't do anything more than that, chopping up women. I sympathize with him, but I think it's a little odd.
I don't know about chopping up women, Mr. Nandi, since you seem to enjoy that.
No, I just
good luck
got
to
it.
you, but it's not something that I would confess to.
No, somebody's actually written a book on it, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't even think of it.
This is just to safeguard him. If there's any chopped up in a bag, you know who to find. Somebody who enjoys that. So, should we, any questions, anything that you want to know and don't know already? Hi, Tara.
Hi, Twinkle. Firstly, I'd just like to say a huge congrats.
Thank you.
The book is super. I've read the book, so for those who haven't, read it. As a mum, as a fellow mum, I really relate, and I think all mums are multitaskers, guys as well. But what really resonated for me, and this is why I've been really wanting to meet you and have you on my show, is that, my dad, he was an author, and he was creating a show, and I'd noticed that you've really, now I don't know if it's a reinvention, but you've him as an author, and you write very well as a columnist, and honestly,
No, I was planning on writing when I was 65. When my kids have gone, I would go to Goa, I would do some drugs finally, and just relax. And that was my plan. This all happened to me much earlier in life. And I had it down to wearing white kurta, having short nails, never dyeing my hair, going on my motorbike. But life gives you opportunities, and sometimes you say yes and it works out. I don't think anyone can really plan to reinvent themselves. It's probably a plan that would flop, I guess.
no, I think honestly, because having spoken to mums, what I find is a lot of people assume that after the kids, careers may dry up. But I've actually found that they actually can be nourishment for a lot more, So, I'm just saying huge congrats to you because I think you've done that and you've done that very successfully. And I think it's very admirable.
Thank you.
And of course I know she's doing a lot of, I know the interior store, I know all that, but I think the writing has, propelled you up there.
From
So,
one mom
yeah.
to another, high five.
Yeah.
I don't want to really talk about the shenanigans in Bora Bora. It's really it's sad, and I feel that instead of looking at people like Mr. Kalburgi who got murdered for having strong beliefs, we are focusing on other things like this. How does this affect anybody else besides them? I mean, and in fact, Mr. Kalburgi's murder affects everyone else who wants to think. So yeah, that's my idea.
Thank you.
Inside this,
It was the first piece that actually got me noticed. I'd been writing for a year before that, but that was the piece that got me noticed. Did I think that I would get this reaction? No, I just wrote it. You don't know where it's going to go and how. And I sent it off. I told my husband, I said, I think I wrote this well. And he said, no, let me see and I'll decide. So I was like, okay, you decide, fine. And I fell asleep that night, and the next day it was everywhere. So yeah, that did work well.
Thank you.
I think it's pretty much equally divided. I do look at things from a woman's point of view. I can't help it. It's biological. That's the way I'm made. But I think I'm not male bashing. I might push a woman up, but I'm not really doing that, by making her stand on top of a man. Yeah.
No, what I mean is that we sometimes live under this sort of ancient misconception that the men in our country are still also living under a rock. But do you find that there are progressive, just as progressive as women are today, that there are enough progressive readers of both genders who respond correctly and they get your point of view?
well, here's one piece.
And I wish there were more. Let's put it that way.
Anyways,
Thank you. I appreciate. Every time I write something against, I would say, or not against, but something against a certain political party, I don't know, cockroaches. They just come running out from everywhere, and I'm busy spraying hit on all of them. Does it bother me? No, because I might like someone, I might not like someone. But for me to be a person who goes on their page and sort of sprouts venom, I don't know what kind of a person I would be. So I assume that a person like that I have no respect for, so why should I respect their opinion?
Anybody else with questions before we move on?
I actually didn't want to write this as my first book. I had a very serious book in mind, a pre-partition book about this family. And my editor at Penguin hit my head with a thesaurus. I lost my memory. I wrote this instead. But yeah, I'm writing something. It's fiction, and let's see.
It's a serious one, is it?
It's not serious. It's not serious.
And she's not telling us that now, if it is.
It's fiction.
All right, thank